So we just woke up. The place is a mess, but I wanted to give you an accurate depiction. Check out the view. We got a bunch of snow last night. Super magical. A couple days after Christmas. What do you think, Hazel? Yeah? Okay, cool. Anyways, I'm gonna suit up, go for a little walk, show you some of the trails outside. Just managed to get all of these photos hung, which is really neat. They're from around 1986, 87, 88, somewhere in there. A couple years took to build the cabin. It's the construction process of the cabin. There's my dad up on the roof. No walls in the place. There's the little shack that was the progenitor to the cabin. That was built first, and then they built the cabin and tore the shack down. So I'm just gonna go for a little walk. I don't know if I'm on camera, I can't really tell. Let's go for a little walk through the woods here. There's a lot of trails. We have about 60 acres here. A lot of trails that kind of go back into the woods. This is a really beautiful time to go check them out. Let's go for a little stroll. Some kind of deer tracks or animal of some kind. That looks like a coyote. No, wait. I don't fucking know. I am not a nature guy. I'm not a aficionado of the different types of wild game in PA. Yeah, these tracks are definitely some kind of animal with pads. So I'm gonna guess a coyote. You can turn, there's a bit of a Y in the road here. You can turn that way, and that'll loop back to the cabin really quickly. I'm gonna go for the longer walk. The whole property is situated kind of between, on this side of this valley. There's a stream down there called Rattlesnake Creek. It's really pretty to look over there and look at the other mountain over in the distance. Somewhere right about down in here, years and years ago, a friend of my dad and her daughter had a teepee that they lived in. She's a Native American, and they built a very authentic teepee down here. I think lived here for a year. I think it's down there. It's hard to tell. There's a couple of wooden beams and some other stuff left. You can kind of tell where it was. the trail that I was on earlier was in pretty good shape, but then as you kind of get back deeper in the woods, the trails get a little bit less maintained. And by that, I mean, I think this is a trail, but I don't think anybody's trimmed it or done anything to it in 20 years, if not longer. There's another creek all the way back. It's the back border of our property. I'd like to try and see if I can find it. A lot of these downed trees and stuff are like wreckage from when we had the place logged 15, 20 years ago, something like that. Forest is almost healed from it, but not quite. I've been thinking a lot about putting in a second cabin all the way back here that faces this creek if I can find it. Very small situation, I'm thinking like a tree house almost. I'm not sure. It would be really cool. I'd want it to be far enough back that if somebody was staying at the main cabin, somebody else could come back here to the deep woods cabin and stay, and nobody would cross paths. So it would be an interesting spot. I think it'd probably be preferential to get the trail fixed up enough that you could drive in. But I guess at first you could just make it like walk-in only. And the nice thing is the coyotes have left me a bit of a trail. I think that creek's down here. This is not a trail. But anyways, the second cabin, I don't know if it'll ever happen or not. Kind of a pipe dream, but what I'd love to do would be to fix the road up so you could drive out to here. Ah, there it is. Fix the road up so you could drive out here and then run single phase electrical from the cabin out here. Have the local power company come in and put that in underground. And this is about the spot. Creek. Man, I want to go down there, but I'm going to get trampled in snow if I do. All this brush is really low. Yeah, so this is where I'd like to do that second cabin. Because there's a creek here, you can put in a water filtration system and a pump. And if you had electrical, you could have, if the cabin was small enough, you could do a mini split for the heat and the air conditioning, all electrical. Tankless electric hot water heater. And then you could have, the only difficulty would be sewage. You couldn't really have sewage out here. You could probably get away with some kind of holding tank, like an underground cement holding tank. Here it is. There's the creek. This would actually be a really good spot right here. So there's the posted sign. So the creek is right on the other side of posted sign. I think the creek delineates the property line. So I would say that we both technically have access to it. I'm trying to pick up this trail again. I know it's kind of like a big oval or a big like C or U shape. kind of skirts around the cabin. Part of it we maintained for a long time, and it's connected with the logging here. I think this is it. Yeah, so I think this is, maybe. Not. I don't know. Anyways. Go this way a little bit, and then see if I can hook a right, connect back up to the part of the trail that we used to maintain. Just follow the coyote tracks, I guess. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a bench right there. Yeah, okay, this was more the spot I was thinking of. Sorry to belabor the point about this treehouse thing or whatever, but this spot's really cool. I like this. Right where this bench is. Very pretty. The creek down there. Really nice view. View of the woods. It goes for a couple of miles in that direction without anything. I see the posted sign way over there in the distance. Trying to see if I can pick it up. Right there on that tree. So over here, I guess the property line moves. Which is cool, because honestly, I think the coolest thing to do would be to just utilize this steep hill here. Kind of, you could like put some concrete pilings down there, have some tall vertical legs that come up, and then that way the one end of the structure could be like kind of cantilevered out over the open air, but you could walk right in the front door here, and it would give it that feeling of being in the trees. The only bummer would be electrical. Getting electrical to here would cost thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it won't be that bad, because I know that when you're doing like a long single phase underground like that, you are responsible for putting in the pipe and then putting in the various pedestals, like the fiberglass boxes where the cable goes to. So you can kind of do it at my leisure. Rent an excavator and just dig a ditch from the existing electrical box of the cabin all the way out to here. You know, maybe put the pipe in, wait a year or two, recover, kind of recover from the cost of the pipe and the ditch. And then once you've recovered from that, you could just pay the electric company to come out and pull in their wire. And then you'd have electrical out here. And once you got electrical, it's kind of on. Okay, so now we're back to a trail. I think that direction there used to be a trail here, but it's so, or maybe this was like the logging deck, and that wasn't a trail. Either way, here's a nice clearing here, and then I know this connects to a trail. I think our property line in that direction is a couple hundred yards. parallels it. So then this trail will loop back. It'll bring you above the pond and then back around to the driveway. I don't know what this is, but I see some urine there and scrapey scrapes. I don't know. Did deer do that? Is that a deer thing? This looks pretty recent. What is this? What tree is that? Maple. A maple tree? I think so, yeah. Huh. That sucks. I'd like to get back to a point where we were aware of all of the fallen trees in the forest here. That used to be how it was. Like, if there was a tree somewhere that fell, it was like, oh shit, clean that up, firewood. We just haven't had a chance to fuck with it for so many years. Not that it's a bad thing to let nature just take its course. But man, I'll tell you what, it makes for a very pretty forest if you do, you know, some maintenance and kind of take your time and keep cleaning up all the down trees. Okay, now we're back to the trail in earnest here. Cabins over that way. You can see a bit of a clearing down there. I think that's the the natural gas well. Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, natural gas wells right there. Yeah, they, I don't know, 8-10 years ago, a company was going around offering, you know, put natural gas wells in. We signed up, put a natural gas well in. Oh, there you go. Now this trail's in good shape. But we put the natural gas well in. It's been really nice. There's a little deer trail, goes right to it. It's been really nice. I've enjoyed it. Because it gives us a little dividend every month. But the main perk is we negotiated into the contract that we get free natural gas. Like we have our own service lines connected directly to the well that go to the cabin and to my dad's house, which is also on the property down here. They're not Marcellus shale wells. They're just shallow wells. So they just go straight down. They don't go down and then do horizontal boring. Which is a lot less dangerous because it's not hydrofractured. It's just drilled. So there's no I don't believe they use any, if they're not doing hydrofracturing, that means they don't pump any of those gross chemicals into the earth, which is really nice. Alright, where am I now? Crossroads. Okay. So left goes back to the creek. Right goes up to eventually to a neighbor's house. And I think this is the one I want to take. I want to go right. This will take us, loop us around the cabin. You can see most of the trees here. There's a lot of underbrush. Why does this keep zooming in? Most of the forest here it's a lot of underbrush because it was logged. The underbrush kind of dates the logging. The age of most of the underbrush here looks to be 15, 20 years, which is about when they logged it. You can maybe just see through the trees, the cabin. I don't know if you can see it on the camera here. There it is. So I could take that trail all the way down to the driveway that brings you into the cabin. I think I would prefer to just cut through the woods here and go down to the pond and skip the driveway. There's a deer trail right there. So the cool thing about the water at the cabin is that it's fed by an artesian spring, which is just a fancy way of saying it's fed by a spring that generates, it has its, what would you call that? It has its beginnings not as a flowing body of water, but actually coming from an underground aquifer. And that spring bubbles out of the ground straight through the sandstone 365 days a year. It is right up here. There's a bit of it's hard to see, but there's like a water break, like a ditch line in a U shape around where the spring comes out. There's the pond, the cabin. But the spring is what, for a long time, only fed the pond. And then at some point, when we decided to put water out here, we channeled it into a large cast cement tank. And then the cement tank feeds the cabin, after, with some filtration and whatnot, of course. But and then the overflow from the tank feeds the pond. There's the spring feeding into the water, or feeding into the pond. And then the line for the cabin is deep underground. Well, thank you so much for listening to me blabber about random shit as we walk through the woods. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Beautiful day. Blue skies, super cold.